Hello plant lovers and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bruno. I'm originally from Australia and I've been living for the last 30 years here in Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania, in the northeast of Europe. Depends where you are. If you're in Poland, it's east of Poland. If you're in Greece, we're north of Greece. So a bit cold. +2 at the moment, and the forecast is for sleet and perhaps some snow. So, I've had quite an adaptation as to what I grow inside and outside in this part of the world compared to living in Australia, where more or less everything I have as an indoor plant I could grow outside all year round. But recently I do have about 8 plants which I keep outside. Some of them are citrus trees in big pots, and they've come inside now and for the winter, and of course I have to have grow lights above them, otherwise they're going to drop their leaves, and have to keep an eye out on not letting them dry out completely, because then the leaves start to fall down. Anyway, today is a slightly different video. I'm going to show you having a look around. I think they're all plants I've not shown you before, except one. An update on one, but yeah, I recently visited, recently meaning last Friday. Today's Thursday, 14th of November, and I visited a garden center. Well, it's not really a garden center, it was like a landscaping center, but they have big glass houses with beautifully fitted out with the ponds and lilies and lots of tropical plants, and they do sell some plants. And I saw a post on Facebook where someone bought a plant from there which I wanted. So I popped down there to buy this one plant, but I ended up buying, I think, 5 plants, and the prices were very good. Anyway, stay tuned to the end because I have a little surprise. Okay, so what did I buy in this place? Well, one of them, Carrii out of variegated. Okay, I couldn't resist it. I mean, I've got a Carrii, a green one, which is, did nothing for a year, but now it's huge. And this one is just gorgeous. I've always wanted this. Now I'm sort of deciding whether or not to pot this up together with the green one or give it its own pot, because the green one is huge. But it's quite cute, and it's got stem and it's got 3 leaves, so there shouldn't be any little problems with this one. Okay, so that's the first one, the Carrii. Oh, while we're talking about plants and updates, I don't think you can see, but somewhere here where the pole is, if you can see it, my Monstera Thai constellation is pushing out a new leaf. It loves the position there, not far from the south-facing window. And of course, there is a grow light that's shining on it. Also, I think way up here is a Strelitzia Nicolai. Well, its latest leaf is now touching the ceiling. So now I have to think, do I still let it grow and touch the ceiling? Or do I find a home for this plant and get myself a smaller one? Anyway, time will tell. Now, the very reason I went, no, I'm sorry, but I've got a little cheat sheet because I'm not going to remember all of these things. But the reason I went there was I saw that they had these lovely Crassula, and it's called a Crassula ovata Sunset. Now, in actual fact, the real long name is Crassula ovata Hummels Sunset, and I believe it's a sport or a mutation which appeared in a garden center, and I think the person's name that spotted this plant in the garden center and then propagated it, the surname was Hummel. Anyway, sometimes it's also called a Crassula argentea Sunset, but argentea is a synonym. It's an ovata. And look, I'm not a favorite of succulents, but I do like the jade plant, and just look at this lovely plant. Love it. Look at it. Red. Look, if I would go this side, look how it picks up. It's got beautiful red stems, and it has yellowing on the margins, and the very edges of the leaves turn red depending on how much sun it gets. If it gets a lot of sun, then these edges will be bright, bright, bright red. Beautiful. I like the shape. And €3. And I've got a couple of other of the ordinary green jade plants. And I found that growing them in a succulent mix in a terracotta pot for me is the best. Because the terracotta does absorb quite a bit of the moisture, so the roots don't stay wet for too long. Of course, it's winter now, so it's going to get less watering less often. But I just love this plant. Not sure how the colors pick up, but we're all going a bit crazy these days on variegated plants, and a Crassula variegata, which ended up as a sport. Beautiful little plant. Just love it. Just love it. What else did I get at that garden center? Oh, yes. A Ficus triangularis. It's a tiny little one. Didn't cost much. Yeah. I repotted it into a ficus mix from Soil Ninja because it was planted up in peat moss. Anyway, it hasn't lost a single leaf. And there it is, isn't he? She, don't know. I put a little stick to attach its trunk or its main stem because it was tending to lean forward. So it's by my south-facing window where all my other ficus plants are, and they're all doing extremely well, growing. Some of them are growing absolutely crazy there. So hopefully this will grow well. This is a native of South Africa, and it's beautiful. I just love it. And I know that there's a Hoya that's got very similar shaped leaves. But yeah, lovely. Just lovely. Lovely. And hopefully it'll grow well. Because I am going slowly but surely towards buying small plants which will grow big. So I'd like to see the journey. Hasn't thrown a fit yet. It has, as I said, it didn't lose any leaves yet. So yeah, even though I washed them, I did find a mealybug on it this morning, but only one. Don't see any others. Yeah. Hey, talking about mealybugs, just let me diverge a little bit here. I did see on Memo's channel from Houseplanty Goodness, and he said he has discovered that Castile soap is absolutely fantastic for spraying your plants to control mealybugs. And I believe the proportions is 15 milliliters of Castile soap to 1 liter of water. If you're not metric but imperial, please make the conversions. Anyway, I've tried it. I seem to be having success because when I spray them with alcohol, especially the Hoyas with their mealybugs, although they are under control, but every now and then 1 or 2 of them pops up. Of course, the odor in the room is a very strong smell of alcohol, and if you breathe in too deeply, you just go a little bit dizzy, and can't open the windows when it's only 2 degrees outside. So anyway, so Castile soap, 15 mils to 1 liter of water. And all the water I use, anything to do with the plants, whether I am spraying the plants, misting the plants, watering the plants, mixing soap, or all this other stuff with water, I always use the reverse osmosis water. Yeah, because the water in the area I live in is very, very hard. It's on the border of perhaps not advisable to drink too much. It's quite hard. There's a lot of stuff in it, and I'm sure my plants are not going to like it. Which in my other apartment where I lived before, I didn't have a reverse osmosis water filter, and quite a lot of the plants struggled. Here, it's the exact opposite, because my experience from the first winter, last winter, the whole winter I spent here with all my plants, which, you know, had acclimated to its new position, all the windows face south, every plant kept growing. Nothing stopped growing. So now I water them, now that it's got a little bit cooler. I usually check my plants every week to see if they need watering, but I check them before I water them. Now it's, you know, I'm sort of up to 10 days period between them, because, you know, some of the, especially the succulents, they're not going to need to be watered. You know, maybe once a month is going to be enough, because that's where I have found the problem with succulents. If I water them too much, they rot. Anyway, that's that. All right, now, while we're talking about Castile soap, my dear friends, subscribers, those of you in the US or perhaps even in Canada, you know, I bought all of these myself. You know, I bought pure Castile soap with eucalyptus, Dr. Bonner's. And the reason I got the one with eucalyptus is in Australia, we often use eucalyptus oil as a slight disinfectant. So if I'm spraying the leaves and there's any virus or bacteria on it, it'll probably kill them. But dear friends, USA and Canada, is there a difference between Dr. Bonner's pure Castile soap and Dr. Bonner's magic soap? Oh well, let me know in the comments below, because I do see in some of the local shops they have Dr. Bonner's magic soap. No, is magic soap a new name for Castile soap? But some bottles are labeled pure Castile soap. So let me know, because I bought one which was magic soap, or even though on the internet that time when I bought it, before I found a store that sells it, it said it was Castile soap, but when the bottle arrived it said magic soap. So is magic soap, Dr. Bonner's magic soap, and Dr. Bonner's Castile soap the same? I'd really like to know, and I'm sure others would like to know. Anyway, oh yes, of course, you know, I go to a garden center and I can't resist. Now I need to show you this. I bought, okay, it was like 12, 15 euros, no more. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't she a beauty? Look, I'm sorry, I'm sitting quite low down on a footstool. But look at that. Isn't she gorgeous? It's a fern, and now I haven't dared touch it. It came in this hanging basket, and I'm not touching the soil or anything. I know it doesn't like direct sun. So beautiful plant. I've wanted one of these for a long time. I've got the zigzag cactus or the fishbone cactus, but I've wanted this for a long, long time. So beautiful. Now, this is a native of Mexico. Let me put this down. And I've got some cheat sheets here because I will never remember the name of this. We call it a fern leaf cactus. First of all, they're not leaves. The whole plant, the stem and what looks like leaves on the side, they're not leaves. All of it is the stem. It's a flattened stem which takes over the responsibility of producing chlorophyll. So don't call them leaves. It's got a name. I think it starts with a C, C-O-L something, don't know. But they're not leaves. They are flattened stems which carry out the process of photosynthesis. Anyway, so as I said, it's native to Mexico. It is now called an epiphyllum Chrysocardium. Chrysocardium. It used to be, the genus name used to be Selenicerius. And it was then, when it was a Selenicerius, it was the only member of that genus. No, it was called a Selenicerius. And then at some stage it was put in the genus of Chia passifilum, but it was the only member in that genus, and following, as is quite common now, they checked the DNA of the plant, and they've decided that it belongs to epiphyllum, no longer Selenericerius. So that's, that's it. That's it. So it's no longer a fern leaf cactus. Now, something else I bought earlier on, because it was only a couple of euros. Talk about something I bought, and I haven't got it here on this letter. I also, maybe a month ago, bought a calathea. Variegated, green, yellow leaves. It was in the rescue section in the plant store. I think it was €2. It didn't look too good. I had it in here with my humidity is sort of like 55, 60%. And it did nothing for like 3 weeks. But then all those yellowy bits started crisping up, and I noticed that all the new leaves that were coming out, even before they unfurled, they were all crisped up. They were all brown. So, sorry, but I gave it a shot, and it didn't work out for the calathea. Well, I know that they are a finicky plant, just like the ficus is a finicky plant. It doesn't, it doesn't like to be moved around. It doesn't like to get a draft or whatever, which it's a bit strange, because sometimes you can take your ficus plant outside in a nice sunny but not direct sun patio or a terrace or something. So, don't know. But they don't like to be moved around. They're a bit fussy, but yeah. So the next plant, I got this also. Oh, by the way, this is called, in plain English, it's called a false Aurelia. Okay, like the plant. My neighbor gave it to me because she had stuff she wanted to get rid of, so she gave me this outer pot, and she also gave me a little glass terrarium, which, whatever, she said she got it as a gift, and whatever plants were in it were long, long gone. It was basically moss, algae, and swamp inside. But, I'll find someone to give it to. And she gave me this pot, and I thought, I like this pot. It's very tropical, And this is called a false Aurelia. It is called, let me get back to my cheat sheet. Its correct name now is a dizygothesa. Dizygothesa. Elegantissima. Well, because it's an elegant plant. Now, it's sometimes labeled as a pleuandra. Well, this particular one usually has 3 little leaves on each of its little petioles. There's the Aurelia plant, which I think looks a little bit like a marijuana plant. It usually has like 5 or 6 leaves, like a fan shape, lots of them, and it looks more like a marijuana. I'm sure if I had one of those, a big one by my window, the neighbors would call the police, because they think I'm, with all my grow lights on for hours and hours during the day, they'd think I'm growing marijuana here. But this one is different. This one is also is it outer variegated? Yes, it's outer variegated, and it has 3 leaves on each petiole, whereas the other one has 5. But cute, and I think a few days after I got this plant, 2 or 3 euros. It was the only one of its kind on the shelf. My neighbor came and said, hey, would you like a nice ceramic outer pot and the little terrarium plant? Just anything to do with plants, just give them to me. If I don't want them, I'll find someone that wants to have it. Anyway, that's that. Another new plant that I have is this one. You might think it's a different Bacchia, but it's not. It's an Aglaonema snow white. But there is a different Bacchia that looks exactly the same. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a aglaonema, that it wasn't incorrectly labeled, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a mama plant and there are 3 baby plants growing in this particular pot. Now, my experience with different buckias is they don't tend, in my experience, to send out little baby plants. Usually when it gets too big, you chop the top off, stick it in a jar of water. Within 2 weeks, you've got tons of roots, and then you can stick it in the same pot as the original one, and it'll bush up the bottom part, and the top part of the plant that you cut usually will send out a new growth point up at the top. So this is definitely an aglaonema, but as I said, I've seen different buckias that look exactly the same, and it's beautiful. And as I said many times before, aglaonema is a plant you just can't go wrong with. Can't go wrong with. A plant that I have here that's not new is my Alocasia Friedeck. And yes, it is growing nicely. Each leaf is completely different. You never know what type it is. It's actually got a little baby plant over here, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 plants on the mama plant. And actually, this morning I pulled off the oldest leaf on it because it had gone all mushy. But yes, now it is also near my south-facing window. It's about 1 meter from the window, and all the leaves point towards the window. It gets grow light and bright light. Well, we haven't had sunshine for about a week because we're in the dark ages now, as winter is fast approaching. So, but as I said, with all my grow lights, everything, I just had no problems last winter at all with my plants. Everything grew. That's that one. What else talking about ficus. A friend of mine brought me from his work, I don't know, quite a large ficus tree in quite a big pot, but it was root bound. The leaves were all small. Asked me to repot it. Of course, I did have quite a lot of ficus soil from Soil Ninja. Not a plug, but it's the one I use, and I love it because I don't have to mix my own soil. And of course, I couldn't resist. I just cut a piece off the top because it needed to be pruned up and shaped. And now I put it in water. And none of these leaves are new. It does have a growth point, but it hasn't pushed out a new leaf yet. But maybe, and it's in pon. It's not in a soil mix, it's in pon. And it's also by the south-facing window because, you know, they love it. All my ficus love being by the south-facing window. So let's put that aside. Let's put the aglaonema on the floor. Other new plants. Haven't shown you this before. This is a variegated umbrella tree. I just couldn't go past it. I saw the colors of the leaves and I just fell in love with it. I'm not really sure exactly which type of umbrella tree this is, but it is I have a note of it here somewhere. Are they still called Schlifflera? I don't really know. yes, it's Schlifflera. Schefflera. Yes. Lovely plant. It's 1/2 meter from my south-facing window, which meant it had 1, 2, 3 petioles with the new little umbrella shaped formation of leaves coming out on top. They all crisped up and dropped off. Of course, that's to be expected because it ended up next to very bright light with a little bit of direct sunlight parts of the day. And those tender little leaves at the top couldn't handle the change. Now, the plant has, I presume, since acclimated because none of the lower leaves shriveled up and died or went crispy. But it is putting out 2 new petioles with leaves on it. So I presume it likes its spot and it will grow nice and big, I hope, because, I would like to have a collection of big plants, less plants, but bigger plants. So that's that one. Something else I bought on a whim, is a croton. Yes, I know. Well, I've just discovered, yes, one more. Okay, I probably had, in the couple of months that I've had this, I probably had 3 or 4 leaves, and they're usually the oldest leaves at the bottom, curl up. Anyway, it is growing very nicely, but as you see, all the new growth, the green, it's green. Whether it will change color or not, I don't know, because the croton needs intense light to get these beautiful colors. Now, I haven't killed it. All the leaves haven't dropped off. It is right next to the south-facing window and under a grow light. Now, the grow light is a bit high up, so that could be why it's not intense enough for its leaves to color up. But I don't mind if during the winter it puts out green leaves, and then when the summer comes along and we have lots of sunny days, etc., we get a mixture of colored leaves and green leaves. Don't really care. Because it can grow into quite a nice little tree inside. Anyway, this was an experiment. I know that crotons are extremely difficult to grow. I don't miss it. There is a humidifier not far from it. As I said, 55, 60% during these cold months. I can get the humidity up to. In summer, if I open the windows, it can go up to 70 or 80% during the summer when we have our hot, humid days. So I haven't killed it. Or should I say, it hasn't died. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It has 9 leaves in probably a couple of months. So must be doing something right. So I consider this to be a success story. That's that one. Now, talking about, I am now reducing the fertilizing. I usually fertilize half strength every time I water, because I'm using reverse osmosis water. There's nothing in it. It's like distilled water. I've measured it. It's like 7 parts per million, which is basically almost like distilled water. So I have to put something in it. But I've gone down to half doses, and I think I'm going to fertilize now every second watering, not every watering. And this is not a plug. This is not sponsored. I always used to use this, I think this is a British one, liquid gold leaf. This is the one I've used. This bottle I haven't opened yet because I haven't finished the first, what is it? Well, how many mils is this? You really sometimes need to find, it's half a liter, 500 mils. I actually bought 2 bottles on the internet, and I think in 6-7 months, I haven't even used up 1 full bottle of it, and this is my reserve bottle. So that's that. But I've stopped using that one because I've got another one fertilizer which I will try. And it's this one. Nurture System. Yep. Is it a Rare Plant Shop? Rare Plant Shop in the UK? The owner, she's formulated a whole series of fertilizers and additions to water, etc. And I've been using this, Now, it does say on the pack, it's ideally suited for reverse osmosis water. Perfect for me, because it's got quite a decent amount of calcium and magnesium, which is what you need if you're using reverse osmosis water. But it also says that if you are using ordinary tap water, I did see somewhere here that it should stay for about 24 hours to evaporate chlorine and whatever else is in that water before using this as a fertilizer. But I did find a European distributor of this. There's supposed to be a distributor of this in Poland, which would be closer to me and I would get it faster and maybe cheaper. But I can't remember the country I got this one from. But the actual purchase price is, I don't want to say quite a bit more, but more than it is if you bought it in the UK. But, you know, I don't have a choice. I think if I'm going to London or somewhere for the weekend, the first thing I would do is get hold of this in the UK. But I've been using this for about five weeks or so. And I can't really say that everything is exploded into growth. Can't say that, because my plants are always growing. What I can say is my Hoyas look as though they are growing faster and better using this fertilizer. But I think I give the Hoyas fertilizer every second week, not every week. But again, not sponsored. I thought I have to try this because is it Kaylee Ellen on the Rare Plant Shop there? She and other people that have bought this rave about this fertilizer. As I said, I haven't seen an absolute drastic increase in the way my plants grow because they're always growing and they're always doing well. So maybe this is just helping them to continue grow well. As I said, but I did see this growing season after I started using this Hoya, some of my Hoyas, which were extremely slow, started growing very quickly and filling out. But that just could be that it was the growing season and not the sleepy season for Hoyas. But anyway, that's that. And the last elephant in the room is this plant. This used to be, this is in a no drainage with tree fern fiber at the top and lacquer at the bottom. This is Anthurium Vitaria folium. It used to be on the back shelf somewhere, and I used to ignore it. And then one day I realized it has lots of leaves, and it's producing another inflorescence. And I don't want you to produce an inflorescence, no. But okay, this straggly leaf here, this damaged leaf, this is the one that it came with. But it's put out lots of leaves. It's put out lots of leaves in my care. But I don't really like it. It's very leathery, it's very okay, it's got one very nice long leaf here. That's one of its new ones. All the longest ones are all of its new leaves. But I like it and I don't like it. You know, it's so, if you are from Lithuania, especially if you are from Vilnius, and you would like to have this Anthurium Vitaria folium, you can have it. Just let me know that you want it. Without the glass vase, I can repot it into a bigger pot for you, plastic pot for you. Because I decided I like it and I don't like it. But I decided that I do like the Anthurium, what is it called? Pallidiflorum. The one that has the velvety strap leaves. That one looks really great. And I think I would like to have that one. So, this I have to get rid of, so I can have room where to plant the Pallidiflorum. Caffeine shot here. And, yes, I've done all the plants. Yes, I've done all the plants. Now, want to get rid of this? And I did order the other strappy and 3M. And guess what? 30 minutes ago, the courier delivered the box. Now, I think I bought this from the Netherlands. What's it called? Downtown Plant Club. I bought it from the Netherlands. It was shipped on Monday, and I got it today. So, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I got it this morning. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 3.5 days. It traveled for 3.5 days. Bearing in mind that it is getting cold. So, and the box, when it was delivered, was cold. It was quite cold, of course. Now, let me try and, don't need to get out a sharp knife. Let's have a look how this plant survived. Now, I did see on the online shop when I bought this that they will, if it's cold, they'll put in a 40-hour or a 72-hour heat pack in there. Oh, okay, now what do I have in here? Invoice. Yes, I do have a heat pack, and only one. What is it? A 72-hour, 48-hour? Don't know. It is just slightly warm. Just slightly warm. Anyway, it's not freezing cold. It's slightly warm. So, you know, it's packed up quite well. Hey, I've never done an unboxing before. I don't really like to do unboxings because being a Leo, I'm one of these people that I don't even like to open birthday presents in front of other people, especially in front of the people that gave me the gift. I like them all to go home after the birthday party, and when they're all out, then I open my gifts. I don't want them to see my reaction, whether that I like the gift or I don't like the gift. Frankly, I don't need gifts. I don't want gifts. I just like to have my friends, family members, and whatever come over and celebrate. To me, it's the party. It's the being with friends and communicating with them and having a good time together. The gifts are irrelevant, and I hate cut flowers. Can't stand them. And everybody that knows me, that remembers, so I keep a check on those that remember, is that if they bring me a flower, it has to be a flowering plant, a live plant, not cut flowers. I really don't like cut flowers. No. Anyway, so we will take out the plant. There's nothing else in the box. There's a little bit of loose soil in there. So let's have a look at this poor little plant. Ah, yes, now it's also in another little. Well, this one has a ventilation hole in there, but I can see my little Pallitiflorium in there. So it's sort of in a little mini greenhouse. More plastic to put in the recycling bin. Oh yes, let's take away the paper towel or toilet paper. Okay, well, it's not, the soil is a little bit cool, but it's not cold. It's not freezing cold. Are you putting out a new, well, it has. The fact that it's still alive, it's, okay. There's my little Pallitiflorium. Yes, there's a little bit of a brownie tip here, but you know, no big deal. It's alive, it's not droopy. It hasn't crisped up. The pot is cool, but not cold. Not freezing cold. So I presume that from most of its journey to Lithuania from the Netherlands, And I know it went from the Netherlands to Switzerland, and from Switzerland, I can't remember the rest of the trip it took through Europe to get here. So for most of the trip, probably the heat pack kept it warm. And as I said, it's not freezing cold. I do remember getting some plants one winter where I almost thought the soil was frozen solid because everything was cold. The packaging was cold, the plant was cold, the soil was freezing cold, the pot was cold, but the pot, it's cool but not cold. So hopefully I will repot this plant. Now I will remove the Vitari folium from here. I will give this a few days to acclimate to my conditions, and then I will transfer this into this jar because I like it because it's very, very tall, and if it has these long leaves, it grows down. So there we are. There's my surprise for today. And the surprise is it's my first unboxing ever on YouTube. I do watch other people's unboxings, and I sometimes like watching them, sometimes I don't, but it is, the leaves are not cold. No, they're not cold, but already I can see it's got lovely velvety leaves. Yes, you're going to have a little bath in lukewarm water, and just will leave you to acclimate. I might put you under a glass cloche or dome, just to give you a little bit of extra humidity and warmth, okay? Oh, but my cloche is being used, my dome is being used, because my Queen Anthurium, it's alive. It does put out a new leaf, but usually those new leaves crisp up and drop off before they get any big. So I've put it under a glass dome to increase the humidity. Although I've watched a lot of videos recently that people are growing the Queen Anthurium in ordinary household conditions absolutely perfectly. Also a little bit confusing. One I saw where the person had absolutely huge leaves. The leaves are like 3 feet long, so I presume it's from the US that this person was, and they are all in front of south-facing windows, absolutely huge. And then I watch another video and it says it doesn't like to be in a south-facing window. Maybe better in an east window or a west window, but not in the south window if you're in the northern hemisphere. But anyway, my is it a I have to get used to this one. Pallidiflorum. I have to remember this one. So I'll keep you updated on how this grows. I've seen YouTubers from the UK growing them in room conditions and growing extremely well. Because I don't have a grow tent. I don't have any IKEA cabinets. Maybe if I had the space, I might have an IKEA cabinet to use as like a big prop box. Because look, sooner or later, the plants, if they're growing well in these IKEA cabinets, they're going to get too big for the cabinet. And then you're going to have to get them acclimated out of the cabinet, which can be, like up to 90% humidity, back into your room conditions, which could be like 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60% humidity. So I know that they would be good for little plants to get them started and growing, and then I suppose you would have to slowly transition them from this high humidity, take them out for a couple of hours, leave them out, put them back in, take them out, increase the time that they're out. And anyway, that's my surprise for you. And it all coincided quite well. So, yes, that's it, folks. If you like this video, press like. If you're new to this channel and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Costs you nothing. Helps me. And if there's anything you'd like me to talk about the plants I grow, any specifics about the way I'm growing them, please let me know below, and I'll try to organize it. I did get a request from someone, and I haven't forgotten you. They wanted a few more specifics of all the different things I use in growing my Hoya. So yes, I will do a Hoya video, and I'll go through everything I use, because some of my Hoya are in pon, some of my Hoya are in a chunky mix, and yeah, so anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Ciao. Just switch you off now. Bye.